Hi, my name's Ambarish Das. That's my spiritual name. Or my name that my mother gave me is Ariel Wiran Patillo, and that is my name. And just wanted to let the world out. I just wanted to let the world know, speak from my heart, speak from my experience of life so far. Still young. I'm still young, but I have had experiences in my life. Um, but I respect my elders, my seniors. I show them respect, and you know, um, the topic I wanted to speak on um, is consciousness. You know, like we look around us, we look at our environment around us, and what do we see? We see things that are animate. We see beings and entities and creatures of all types and of all kinds and of all shapes and sizes. And you know, they're animate. They move around. They go from one place to another place. They, they are they're very. They do things, you know. And point being, because they are able to move around and do whatever they want to do, that proves that there is consciousness. Because if something didn't have consciousness, it would be dead matter. For example, you look at a rock. I mean, you look at maybe not a rock, but you look at, I don't know, a chair. A chair. That chair was part of a tree, and that tree was a living creature. But then they cut down the tree, whatever. And they used the log to make a chair. And that chair, it's inanimate, it doesn't move around, and it's dead matter. So therefore it is lacking consciousness. But it sure does, have molecules, cells, and atoms, because atoms are the smallest little thing that we can't perceive it with the naked eye, but if we get some kind of microscope, like get a ultra microscope or whatever, and we could see the atoms then. But the point I'm trying to make is consciousness pervades everything we see around us, and but not everything has consciousness. Only living creatures do. And that consciousness is something different from ancient revealed scriptures that I have studied and read. Bhagavad Gita, in particular, Song of God. That's what Bhagavad Gita means. It means Song of God. it mentions the nature of consciousness. And the nature of consciousness is not material, but it's spiritual. For example, we have these bodies and they undergo a process of change, constantly changing. Every day, our bodies are changing in some way or another. And that is because the nature of the material world, or the nature of the world that we are in, is that it undergoes this process of birth, you're born, death, you die, old age, you get old, and disease, and you get diseases. So these stages of life affect everything that we see that we perceive in this world. So therefore, if we're naturally we're seeking happiness. Everyone in this world, we are all seeking happiness. And happiness is actually found within. People seem to think that all the external things around them will give them pleasure. And it may do give pleasure, but the pleasure that they will get is only temporary. It won't last forever. And eventually it will diminish and dwindle away. So, and also, let's just take one example, drugs. People try drugs and they get pleasure from it. They get a kick. They get a kick out of it. They get a buzz from it. But eventually, comes back around in a vicious way, and it ends up wrecking the person's life. So we can see that there's so many examples of people who do drugs, and I've seen pictures of people before they do drugs and after. And after, you look at the after photo, they look wrecked. They look wasted. They looked, horrible. So that's what we can see, the effect of drugs and how it affects people. It doesn't affect them in a good way. So as I was saying, happiness. We're all of us are trying to find pleasure. We're trying to find what makes us happy in this world, and the best, the best way to find happiness is from within, because in actual fact, we are this consciousness. We are this spiritual nature. We are this spiritual soul. It's called an Atma. It's called a Jiva Atma. We are a soul, a part and parcel of the absolute truth. That's what we really are. Underneath all this phantasmagoria that surrounds us, we are actually a soul. And the soul is pleasure-seeking. And that's why we are pleasure-seeking. And that's who we really are, as a soul. And, this body may die. Because, okay, we have to acknowledge the qualities of material nature and spiritual nature. So material nature is asat, which means it's temporary. It's temporary, and it's full of ignorance, and it's full of misery. This is the truth. We may find little bits of happiness and whatever, but it doesn't last forever, and it usually ends in misery. But spiritual nature is the complete opposite of that. It is eternal. It is sat, eternal, chid, full of knowledge, and ananda, full of bliss. And when we connect with God through yoga, unite with God through yoga, then we can naturally feel a joyous pleasure from within. And if we spend some time to pray and chant every day, to whatever extent we can, hallowed be thy name. So chanting God's names. If we do this, we should feel, we will feel a happiness from within. And this happiness from within is true happiness, because it's not temporary, it's eternal happiness. And that's what we want. We want to be eternally happy. So by chanting and realizing our relationship with Krishna, with God, then we will find happiness, true happiness, everlasting happiness. So the topic was consciousness, and whenever you see consciousness, that means there is a soul, a spiritual soul within that being, that entity, that creature. Yes? Ready? Okay. Is it ready? Okay. Be out there soon. Okay. Bye.